All right, we are live for another episode of Real Estate Junkies podcast. Today we have an exciting guest with us, DeVante Blow, who is not only a successful real estate agent, but also a talented songwriter, singer, producer, and an author. In this episode, we will be diving into what DeVante calls the layup mindset, how building consistency and momentum in your daily routine can completely transform your real estate business and even your life. DeVante, thanks for being here. Let's start with the layup mindset. What inspired you to develop this approach and how has it impacted your journey in real estate?
Man, first off, thank you so much for having me. And what started the layup mindset was I grew up in a very, very, very active family. So a little backstory: I'm the oldest of 20 children, and my mom
20.
had me.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of us, but not only that, my mom had me at such a young age. She had me at 15 that I grew up with like my aunts and uncles, and there were seven of them, right? So it was a smorgasbord of us, and we are all athletic and everything. And so my love for sports started off really, really early. And getting into real estate and entrepreneurship in general, one of the things that I learned is there's so many things that you can take from sports and basketball, football, whatever you played, and apply to the real world or
Hmm.
entrepreneurship or real estate. And so the layup mindset comes from, the layup is the easiest or highest percentage shot that you can take in basketball,
Hmm.
right? And so in real estate or in entrepreneurship or your personal life, whatever have you, what are the easy shots or the highest percentage shots that you can take in your career to help you build momentum so that you can hit the big three in your life? So that's where it came from right there.
Oh wow! And can you share with us, like, I guess, your journey into real estate? What drew you into the industry, and how did you get started?
Yeah, you know what? I'm another plant from the restaurant industry. It's so common actually. A lot of us come from the restaurant industry. I was working in the restaurants and COVID shut it down. So March 17th of 2020, my restaurant got shut down. Like we got the shutdown order. I'm here in Washington State, so we couldn't even go into the restaurant, and it forced me, with regard and with respect to everybody who lost and suffered during COVID. COVID was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. It forced me to be great. It forced me to choose myself, over the comfort of the restaurant. And so I met with a man named Tim Cornwell, who is a local rock star agent out here. And I fell in love with his mindset. And, luckily it happened that he was in real estate. He could have been selling Cutco knives or Mary Kay, bro. And I would have been like there with him. Like I just love this mindset. So that's my entry to real estate.
And I guess, like, how'd you go about building a successful real estate business like you did? What were some of the key steps that you took early on?
Yeah, key steps. Number one is I've always been a relational guy. Always like to be, helping somebody out, making somebody's day better. And I've never been a transactional person. And I think that's one of the marquee things that came over with me, especially from the restaurant industry, right? It's like, hey, the more you get to know people, the more you know, right? And the greater the impact you can make. And so my first sale was with somebody who already knew, like, and trust me, right?
Yeah.
And so I would say the relationship aspect over the transactional aspect definitely helped me out.
Okay. And some of the struggles that you have faced early on,
Ooh.
COVID probably was an unusual market to get into, right? So what were some of the struggles that you had to go through, and how'd you overcome them?
Yeah, so I was super vocal about who I was. Now I wrote letters to everybody that I knew and said, hey, I'm super excited about getting into real estate. And so that wasn't one of the things that I struggled with. It was actually early on. I would say at the end of my first year of real estate, which I had done like 10 sales, was just shy of 5 million in total volume, and my wife got sick.
Hmm.
My wife was diagnosed with breast cancer. And so it really, really, really took a toll on me. Like I wanted to be out there selling, but obviously, I'm a man and I want to be there with my wife, and, we're protectors and everything like that.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to be at home with her. And of course, if you're at home, you're not out there selling.
Yeah.
And so I had gone like almost 5 months without selling a house. And I was down to like my last $50. I tell the story often, but I was down to my last $50 in my account. And the last thing you want is health issues and financial issues. You know what I mean? In a marriage, it's like the scarlet letter. And
Mm.
so That was where this book and the mindset of Just One Layup really helped me. I had to get back to the basics. My wife was like, "Hey, this is part of our journey. You need to go out there and you need to crush it." And so I didn't go back and try to, buy the latest model or the, this, that, and the third. I went back to who I was intrinsically, and it was open houses, it was community events, and it was anywhere I can speak. So essentially being in front of people. And that helped me crush the next year. And then, I mean, just every year has been better and better and better since.
Wow. And you talk about the layup mindset obviously a lot, looks like. And can you explain what that means for real estate agents, right? Like, and clearly it has played a role in your business going down and coming back up. Tell us about how real estate agents can leverage this mindset.
Yeah. So you know what? Find the easy wins. It's all about momentum and knowing who you are. So with the
Mm,
layup mindset, and obviously it's predicated on basketball, but whatever sport you played, this can apply. I don't know if you know who Shaquille O'Neal is, right? Shaq, big 7 foot, center, right? You wouldn't create playbooks for him to run point guard, right? For him to bring up the ball, like maybe in
yeah,
an all-star game, right? For fun, but not in a serious moment.
yeah,
And likewise, you wouldn't take Steph Curry, who is probably the greatest shooter of all time, and put him in the post, put him down
correct.
where Shaq's supposed to play, right?
Yep.
And so you have to create playbooks specifically for you to be successful.
Mm,
And
yeah.
that's why I wrote this book, is because I don't believe in the one size fits all mantra that
Yeah.
plagues our industry.
Mm,
And so I want you to be, your greatest self. So I encourage people to take the DISC assessment,
mm,
and that's not necessarily a true north, but it is a guiding light.
yeah.
And then really, all right, what are your strengths? And how can we build around your strengths? One thing I do believe is that your strengths can be built up to almost unlimited potential.
Yep.
But I also believe that your weaknesses, there's a cap to how high you can build up your
Mm,
weaknesses, right? And
yep.
so hire those out. Always be using yourself in your highest and best potential, highest and best use, essentially. And so, that's essentially how I would help out real estate agents. Is like, hey, let's get back to who you are, how you work best, and then of course the last part is knowing your ideal client, right?
Yeah.
That you pair those two things, you know your client, and then you build systems around that to where you're just attracting your client.
Yeah.
Success is yours, and that's where the layup mindset comes from.
Wow, this is very similar to what we teach in the academy. Getting started in the business, or you've been in business for a long time and you're not seeing the results you want. And usually comes down to not leveraging your strengths and eliminating your weaknesses, and not realizing the opportunities in the marketplace and the threats in the marketplace, right?
Yeah,
And when it comes to branding, targeting, just instead of being a general real estate, to targeting a specific audience,
yeah.
and marketing yourself according to that elevates your status compared to anyone else in the market. Now let's talk about daily routine. How do real estate agents, or I guess how do you build consistency and momentum in your daily routine, and why is daily routine a critical factor for success in real estate?
Oh man. So I hope I don't annoy you by going back to the basketball terminology, but
No,
listen,
yeah.
Steph Curry is not the greatest shooter of all time because he does it sporadically. You
Mm,
know, he shoots 1,500 shots before the game and 1,500 shots after the game.
wow.
And during practice even more, right? And so if if you want to be the greatest, you have to have systems and you have to
Mm,
have a protocol for your day, right?
yeah.
Me, I wake up at 5:30 every day. I go to the gym. It is just the way that I get my body and my mind right
Mm,
before I even step into the arena of real estate.
yeah.
So 5:30, I get home at 7 o'clock. From 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock is where I'm showering, I'm getting ready, I'm listening to my podcast, whatever have you. I'm getting my mindset right. At 8:15, when I get to my office every day, it's I mean, I'm so regimented. 8:15, I get to my office. I'm not looking at anything, no emails or anything until 9 o'clock.
Mm,
I'm just making sure that I woosah and I'm ready. I'm locked in. Once nine happens, dude, it's emails, follow up texts. I'm sending out video messages to anybody that I didn't get to at the end of the night, just saying, hey, what's up? I got your text, blah blah blah. That's one thing that I love doing. Actually, you should absolutely be doing video texts. And then I try to leave the evenings or the afternoons open for showings, for listing appointments and buyer appointments.
yeah.
But I'm out of the office typically around noon.
Mm,
So It's very important because you know exactly what to expect, and you build systems and processes so that you can get predictable results.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what it's all about, is predictability. Because in a arena where everything is commission based, if you're not locked in, man, you can go a month or
Hmm.
2 months or 3 months without having to check, and it's like, whoa, what's going on, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I would say, hey, lock in as soon as possible.
Yeah. And I think a lot of agents out there, they feel, inconsistent. They try consistency, they get consistency, they get results, they fall off, right?
Hmm.
So, and it's this misconception that once you're set, you're set. It's not,
Right.
right? Like, so what would you say when it comes to, let's talk about your daily routine, right? What are the challenges that you face? Sounds like it's locked in, right? But I'm sure there is something that comes in the way, gets in the way. And how do you fight through those, right? How do you push through those challenges when it comes to with your daily routine and consistency?
Yeah, so it's normal for things to pop up, right? I have like little systems in place where if my wife or my son or my little sister, if they call me more than twice,
Mm.
I'm answering that phone call, right? You know what I mean? Like, so familiar with my family, we have systems, and then if somebody calls, a client, they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is the house! I gotta go see it right now," and it's like I'm locked in, doing my video text or emails or
Yeah.
something. Okay, what time are you available? I will hop out and I'll go show that house. But you know what? The time that I'm gone, I have to reallocate that time at the end of my day.
Yeah. There you
You know
go.
what I mean? So like
Yeah.
if I
Yeah.
missed an hour of my follow-up time, guess what? Hey, at the end of the day, before I go home or when I get to the house, I'm making sure that I still do that follow-up because it's so
Mm.
important. In real estate and maybe entrepreneurship in general, it's like, dude, if you slack off for a week, you'll feel the results in like 2 weeks,
Yep.
right? But
Yeah.
you have to work consistently for like a month to be able to feel the results in like a month or two. You know what I
Or two
mean? Like,
months. Yeah. Yeah. 3 months, maybe. Yeah.
yeah,
Depending on what you're doing, right?
exactly. So like it's so you feel it so quick when you're slacking off, man. And so to answer your question, make sure that you do your non-negotiables.
Yeah.
If somebody takes you out of your rhythm, that's okay. Get back in the rhythm, by the
Yeah.
end of the day. Make sure you're done by 8 or 9 o'clock. Get it done.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love the fact that, you mentioned that, hey, if something gets in the way of your non-negotiables, you still get it done, right? That's what builds that momentum, right? Because things get done no matter what, even if something got in the way, right? First of all, you try to prevent it by
Yeah.
taking care of things and putting things on the calendar, like, taking care of your errands and, responsibilities and obligations first before business goes on there. So that way those things can get in the way, right? Those are taken care of. Now, I love that. And you talk about focusing on small, consistent wins, right? So how does that help real estate agents grow their business over time?
Yeah, it's those small wins, right? It's just going to the gym. Maybe you're like out of shape, right? And you're like,
Yeah.
holy crap, man, I need to lose some pounds. And that was me, dude. 2 years ago, I was
Yeah.
almost 230 pounds, man. I was big, And so what I did was, and I talk about this in the book, is I just tried to wake up early. Instead of
Mm.
trying to wake up early and go to the gym and work out really hard and probably hurt myself in the first week, I was like, you know what? Can I be committed to just waking up early? And
Yeah.
that was the first step. And then I was like, okay, 5:30, I could do that. All right, let me just let me just go to the gym, see what's happening. So I would just get up at 5:30, get dressed, and go to the gym. I probably hop on the elliptical or something low impact. I'm not gonna hurt myself.
Yeah.
And then after I got into the routine of going to the gym, then I started to, put in the hard work of like, okay,
Yeah.
now we have a routine. And so those small steps help me to where now it is a consistent thing. If I don't wake up at 5:30, I feel as if something's off. If
Mm.
I don't go to the gym, right, now I feel like something's off. So it's my
Yeah.
norm to be, in that flow.
Yeah.
So the small steps that you can take, whether that be, hey, you know what? I know I need to make my calls, man. How about you make 5 calls today? Like go for 5 conversations. What would you do? And then tomorrow do the same thing. Do
Mm.
that for a couple of weeks. And then, hey, let's bump it up. Let's go to 10. And what happens is you start to feel the effects and you're like, holy crap,
Yeah.
man. I make 5 and I get 1 conversation, man. And it feels great because, I'm not a salesman. I'm just being naturally me. I'm just adding value to people and it feels good. I want to add more people to my list,
Yeah.
and it just starts to build that momentum. And now, you know what? Hey, you're able to bust out 20 conversations in a day and you're
Mm.
nailing it. And that's part of your process. and now you're setting, 2 or 3 listing appointments a month, or I'm sorry, a week. Like, dude,
Yeah.
that is the goal. So I would say small incremental steps help more than trying to take the big leaps.
Yeah. No, I think that's very important when it comes to building momentum. Taking it one step at a time. A lot of people want to make $100,000, $1 million, right? And
Yeah.
this big audacious goals, and I'm gonna go, prospect 3 hours and talk to 300, dial 300 people, and they could probably pull themselves to do it 1 or 2 days, and then they fall off, right? And it's
Exactly.
because trying to do too many things at one time, right?
Yep.
And then burnout, right? So
Yep.
I think discipline is probably one of the key factor here. And so what
Mhm.
what what are some practical strategies for real estate agents, team leaders, brokers to stay disciplined and focused on building momentum?
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in once the mind and the eye see it, then they also start to work towards making that possible. And what I mean by that is, I would tell people to write down their goals twice a day.
Mm,
I have a whiteboard in my room. It's literally right across from my bed. My wife hated it at first, but I was like, this is very important to me. And I write down my goals twice a day. When I wake up, I write down my goals. And then I erase it at night and I write it down again right before I go to bed. Right. It's because I want to see those, and I
yeah.
want that to be the constant thing that I am looking and striving to achieve. And so
Mm,
I would say, hey, number one, write down your goals. Like at the end of the day and at the beginning of the day, write down
yeah.
your goals, and then write down gratitude, some things that you're happy about, some things
Mm,
that you're proud of, things
yeah.
like that. And then two, if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist.
Mm,
Put it on the calendar.
mhm,
Whatever you want to achieve, whatever you want to say, hey, this is my consistent thing, put it on the calendar, because now you have accountability, right? It's like, okay, I know for a fact that from 5:30 till 7 o'clock, that's my workout time,
yep.
right? And it's on my calendar. It's like it's the norm. And then, what, after you do those things, share what you want, share your goals, and share your calendar with a close friend who is also like striving for greatness at the same time,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And the reason is, now that person can call you out too.
Mm,
It's so important. People say if you do it for 21 days, you have a new
habit.
whatever,
Yeah.
habit,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
I I you probably got to do it for a good 2 months. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, it's probably
For some
longer than
people,
2 months.
90 days.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it sounds simple, but at the same time, you know what? If you build what I like to call guardrails,
Mm,
right, around you that help you and guide you,
yeah.
man, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, success will be yours. But it takes a little bit of vulnerability. You have to be
Mhm.
vulnerable with yourself, with your partner, and
Yeah.
then with a good friend who's going to call you out. And if you have a mentor, oh my gosh, yeah, they're definitely gonna hold
Yeah.
your feet to the fire. But those are the 3 things that I would say, if you do today, it would help out.
No, I love this calendar thing. When I first started my team 4 years ago, and I would recruit anyone and everyone in my team, obviously, because I didn't know better. But like when I found out like there were agents out there not operating without a calendar, I was like, how are you guys doing it? And obviously they were not seeing results. That's how they were doing it, right? And then eventually I realized that not everyone is as disciplined as I was,
Right.
and for me it's my whole week ahead of time is every hour is blocked.
Yeah.
It's either an appointment or something that I'm doing for the business. And it's for you to be able to do that, it just doesn't happen overnight. This is years of discipline, right? And I realized that over time teaching and coaching agents.
Yeah.
And sometimes you might not have that level of discipline, right? But it takes putting 2 hours on your calendar. Let's
Mm.
just say take 2 hours of your day where you're going to abide by that calendar, right? Which 2 hours are those? And should be high impact tasks that you do in those 2 hours. And start there, like kind of like what you're saying, small wins, right? Start there. Discipline yourself for 2 hours every single day. And
Hmm.
then increase that to 4,
Yeah.
then increase that to 6, then increase that to 8. Honestly, for me, it's 4 hours of disciplined work. I do more than most people do in 3 days, maybe
Yeah.
even a week, right? So when you have that discipline, you probably don't even have to, I see agents working 24 hours a day. Like they feel like they're working 24 hours a day,
Yeah.
right? They're always available. And I'm like, how are you doing it? First of
Yeah.
all, and that can't be healthy, right? That cannot be healthy. You're always working. And sure, I get it. You get a call and all of that. That's one thing. But if you're always like having to pull yourself aside and not being able to live the life that you want to live, then why are you even doing it? Like, why are we
Right.
even doing all of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then the second thing you mentioned was the peer, right? Like getting a peer to hold yourself accountable. That's huge. You know, when I started the team, I realized that okay, people need people to hold themselves accountable. So I started pairing up my agents, like, hey, pick
Yeah.
someone in the team that you would get along with, and that other person can hold you accountable, and it works, right? Like when
Mhm.
you got another person that's gonna and they truly, that person truly have to genuinely care about you. It's not a person that will just let you slide because, hey, I don't care if you do it or not, right? That
Right.
other person has to genuinely care about your success, and you being able to do what you need to do and hold you accountable at the level that you're not capable of holding yourself
Yep.
accountable, right? And the last thing, if you want to be disciplined, penalize yourself, right? If all else fails and you truly need to become successful, to me it's, hey, write a check to something that you don't agree with, right? Like if your core values don't align with, right? I don't know. If you're a Democrat, write a check to the Republican Party. If you're a
Right.
Republican,
Right.
write a check
Yeah.
to the Democratic Party. And that will do it. That will do it. Trust me. Like people's ego are bigger than their comfort, right?
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about EXP, right? Like before we talk about EXP, where are you in your business right now? Kind of give us like what is your operation like in your business?
Yeah, so I'm still producing agent. I have a team of 13 agents here in
Wow.
Washington State, and the old adage, you have 13, but 8 really produce, type deal.
More
That's
like
kind of where
three.
we're
More like
at.
three.
Yeah, so team of 13 agents, man, we're crushing it this year. We're a mega icon team,
Wow.
and yeah,
Wow.
you know
That's
what, we're
numbers.
it's been a wild year. This has been my best year of production while writing the book and while dealing with owning, not owning, but working with 13 agents as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been a lot, but
Yeah.
just seeing the successes that come with the incremental
Mm.
successes and changes that they've been making. Oh my gosh, so that's been amazing. We do about 5 deals a month,
Mm.
which is great. For where we're at right now, we have 4 new agents, like new to real estate
Wow.
agents,
Wow.
and they've been crushing it. One of them has a listing agent or a listing appointment for a $1.7 million listing coming up, so that's
Wow.
great.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what? It's been a fun market. I would say it's definitely relationships over Zillow or Redfin leads out here. I don't know
Mm.
what it looks like for you guys, but if you don't know that person, if you don't have a great relationship, you're probably struggling right now in the climate. But
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I did Zillow back then, and I got out of Zillow about 2018, and I realized like, oh my God, like this is when people truly are connected with you, they get you business, and spend money on ads, leads, whatever it is, right? There is a room for that, for you to scale your business. I think that you do need to leverage paid advertising and all of that, right? Depending
Mhm.
on where you want to go, but I see this on a daily basis with agents that we talk to, right? Is that, oh, I'm spending money on ads. I'm like, okay, so what are you doing to generate business organically? Nothing, right?
Yeah,
How many people do you have in your database? I don't know, right? Obviously, you're trying to spend money on ads, and that even doesn't work. Why? Because you don't have skin in the game. You don't
right,
have engagement with people. So when you are buying leads, you can't convert them because you're not on a daily basis talking with people, being a people person, and
right.
know what it takes to deal with people, right? So
Yeah.
now, what led you to bring your team to EXP, and how has this move impacted your business and team dynamics?
Woo! Oh man, EXP. Well, so a lot of people don't know, but Bellingham, where I live, is actually the birthplace of EXP. So Glenn
Oh
is a
wow.
very good friend. Actually, we were just texting the other day, and honestly, he sold us on it. It was just like, just come over, man, and try the water. And uh, going from a independent brokerage to EXP has had significant positive
Mm.
impacts on our
Yeah.
careers for sure. Just with, I mean, the rev share portion of things is amazing, but not only that, like the healthcare and then the connectedness of
Yeah.
EXP. I can sit here and have a conversation with you, and we just met, 2 or 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
but you're an icon, you know what I mean, in the real estate industry.
Yeah.
Well, you made yourself available to me. How many K-Dub agents are doing this? How many,
Yeah.
other agencies have, the connectedness that we have?
Yeah.
That's why I look forward to Miami, dude. Like, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so expensive, dude. I'd pay twice as
Yeah.
much as what it costs to be there, because when I went last year and spoke last year, man, oh my gosh, it opened my eyes to. I saw a quote that says, stop sitting in the back.
Mhm.
Man, dude, I was one of the first people to buy my VIP ticket this year, and I'm sitting in the front every time, man, because EXP is just like that, man. I can have a conversation with you. I can have a conversation with Tina. I can have a
Yeah.
call. I
Yeah.
can be on the phone with Glenn, and like these
Yeah.
are movers and shakers in our industry, not
Yep.
just in
Yep. Not just the
EXP,
company. Yep. Mhm.
right? In our industry, and they make themselves readily available.
Yeah.
And everything that they have at their disposal, they're like, yeah, here you go, use this,
Yeah.
and they want you to succeed. Man,
Yeah.
that to me, you can't put a price on.
Yeah, I love it. And a lot of people undermine. I guess like people don't have long vision; they just have short vision. Okay, what's in it for me now? And I think that's where I see a lot of people complain on workplace, like, oh, the ticket's very expensive for the EXP con, and should be cheap, should be free, right? Like, hey, if you get something for free, you don't value it.
Right.
And sure, I see the mindset where, okay, I'm part of the company, I should be able to come. Like, hey, guess what, like you already have this mindset while paying. If you didn't pay, it would be even worse. Right? But no, I think the being having the perspective that you have comes from valuing for what it is, valuing
Mhm.
something for what it is, for the value of it, right? And that's why you don't mind. You're willing to pay double. I'm willing to pay 5 times, right?
Yeah.
It's because it's my 30 XP con, okay.
Mm.
And to me, it's like the in a cloud-based brokerage, we are not brick and mortar. We don't have connections, even though like I connect with people all the time on workplace. I plug in, right? But for
Yep.
other agents that are out there that don't plug in, it's a game changer. Situations like this, right? Everyone coming together, being able to network with, connect with like-minded people, and
Mhm.
get exposed to what other people are doing out there. And yes, probably not 100% of the company is willing to share everything they got, but there is a good number of agents, team leaders, brokers who
Yeah.
are willing to open up their playbook. They're willing to collaborate, right?
Mhm.
For this is a good example. I don't even know what upline you are on, right? And this perception that is out there, oh, people in companies like this, it's not just EXP, it's Rio, it's LPT, it's Epic, right? They only care about their upline, right? That mindset comes from traditional brokerage models. And
Yeah.
yes, there has been some people that came over to the cloud-based brokerage model, to the new model, and still operate traditionally. That's okay. To each their own. But I'm not there for that, right? I'm not here for that. If I was here for that, I would have better off just building my own thing, right? Like
Yep.
I would have kept 100%, even though I keep 100% of my money, right? Like, but you know what I mean? Like I would have been 100% owner, right? And that's not
Mhm.
what I'm here for, right? But I guess like what I would like to know is what were some of the challenges that you have? I think that's what people miss, right?
Mm.
That's the boat they miss when seeing the benefit of it. What were some of the challenges you were facing before, right? That you are not facing anymore, or what were some of the benefits that were not available to you before that you have available to you now?
Yeah. So, I mean, number one is the
Mm,
overhead, and then number two is, man, the insurance, the
yeah,
liability, right? The
yeah,
liability, like they took that on for me. You know what I mean? Like, oh my
yeah,
gosh, if an agent goes out there and they screw up, and I
yeah,
mean, of
yeah,
course, being a
yeah.
managing broker, like, dude, that they screw up, but I'm screwed too.
Mhm.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So it's like they come in, they're the big umbrella. And so my team is the home team powered by EXP. So they're the big umbrella, and we're right under that.
yeah.
So it's that protection,
Mhm. Yeah,
and then it's the back end as well. Like Skyscope, man, oh my gosh, we have our own everything,
yeah,
concierge for everything.
yeah.
Yes, I love that. I don't have
Mhm.
to hire somebody to be sitting in my office every day, making sure that we're compliant. We have a great TC by Transactly. I don't know who you're using, but Transactly is a company that is endorsed by EXP. And
Yeah,
man, our TC is amazing. But yeah, so the back end is probably, I'd say that's probably number one.
yeah. No, I think this is what a lot of broker owners miss, is that they want to be their own company, and they don't realize. and people are realizing now with this
Mm-hmm.
market shift right now, the profitability is shrinking with all the liability, with all the overhead. People are starting to realize. I see it in broker owners, team leaders I talk to, but it's always like, hey, I want to be my own thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not realizing the overhead, the liability that you take on, that a lot of times doesn't pay off, right?
Right.
A lot of these broker owners, team leaders, they're not profitable unless they
Right.
themselves sell, right? For me, EXP takes off all of my liability thing that you mentioned, but all my operations, right? I don't have to worry about processing transaction. I don't have to worry about writing checks. I get check written to me without
Yeah.
having to do any work. Like that's what I want, right? That's what
Yep.
I don't want any headache, right? So okay, so now what would you say? To close up a little bit. What is the future of real estate sales for you? Where do you see the future of real estate sales heading, and how can agents position themselves for success in the coming years?
Yeah. So when I first got in, it was, man, if you're not making video, if you're not making video, if you're not making video. And while that is still true,
Hmm.
taking it to the next level, if you're not making video for your ideal client, I
Like
would
go.
say,
Let's
if
go.
you're not making strategic videos and content for your ideal client, then you are missing the boat. And everybody has a message, so you have to be authentic in your videos, in your
Yeah.
content, because people will feel that. If you go to my social medias and I'm funny, like I like to have a good time, you will feel that when I show up to a listing appointment. I am the
Mhm.
same. I like to have a good time. Of course, when it's time to lock in, hey, we're locked. But
Yeah.
dude, man, I'm gonna make you smile. I'm gonna make
Mhm.
you laugh, and we're gonna have a good time. And so make video content for your ideal client so that you can continue to be yourself. So to answer your question, real estate
Yeah.
sales, that's where it's going. It's going to the people who are
Yeah.
authentically themselves, and
Yeah.
they're out there almost as if they're walking around with magnets for the people that just know,
Yeah.
like, and trust them. It's an unfair advantage right now,
Yeah.
to be yourself.
No, I think what how consumers would buy, it's changing. It's already has changed, right? Meaning
Yes.
people are gonna go for convenience. People are gonna go for guarantees, right?
Hmm.
It's not gonna be anymore about, okay, who do I know? Okay, it's how do you help me, right?
Yeah.
And it's not gonna be about, okay, you're my cousin, I will just
Right.
use you as a realtor. That's the only option I got. People got options. People got access to information.
Yep.
People got internet in their hand. People got supercomputers in their hand. They
Yes.
got access to information. They got access to knowledge. Now, who's providing that, and who do they like, know, and trust in that process? Right. A lot of consumers today are deciding to who they would work with months, if not years ahead of time, because
Yeah.
they follow you on social media and the way you show up, right? So
Right.
I see where that's going, and I think real estate agents, I see this all the time. Yeah, I do probably like 5 to 10 social audits a week, and where we go over a real estate agent's social media presence, and we just give them feedback, right? That I do this for market research to see what mistakes real estate agents are making out
Yep.
there. And they're still operating 10 years ago, right? Meaning
Mm.
10 years ago it was about just existing on social media, post flyers, just sold,
Right.
just listed, just pending, right? Social media has evolved now. The algorithm has evolved. What they pushed, what the algorithm, it's artificially intelligent now, right? So
Mhm.
what it pushes is different for what it used to push. What it used to push was whoever was posting.
Right.
Today it's pushing value, right? So
Yes.
whoever is posting value, right? So that's
Mhm.
where what you said comes in. It's not about existing anymore. It's about being strategic. It's not just about, oh, I have realtor on my name.
Right.
Stop putting realtor in your name unless it's Instagram. Like, don't put your realtor on your name. If it's a personal Facebook page, make it personal or make it real, right? Don't make it seem like you're trying to sell something to someone on
Mhm.
social media. Instead, make it about value, who you're helping, what results you're getting them, how are you getting them the result. If you could strategically, don't even have to be that strategic, who you're
Right.
helping, what results you're getting them, how are you getting them the result. If you could just relay that message out with your content, with your profiles, I think you will get way higher results than someone that's just trying to be a general. I help you buy, sell, invest in real estate, posting flyers.
Right.
Be a little like, just be a little bit more than just average. I think that's all it takes. Like just make the effort to be a little bit more than average. Instead of posting a flyer that gives home buying tips, just get on video and say those tips. Like that's all it takes, right? You're
Yes.
not doing anything. Yeah, a little bit extra, but a little bit extra, right? You don't need to be fancy. You don't need like fancy video editing. Because some people get intimidated by, oh my God, I can't be that person.
Right.
There's such an influential. Yes, you do have to be influential, but you don't have to be an influencer, right? Like
Mm.
the definition people have of influencer is as
Yep.
if you gotta have all these fancy stuff and you gotta have, you gotta show up that consistently. Yes, you gotta show up consistently, maybe 3 to 5 times a week, but
Yeah.
you don't have to do it like the influencer who's showing up 5 to 10 times a day, right? So it's just being a little bit better than the average agent out there, because the average agent out there sucks. Like
Yeah.
the competition sucks out there, and you just gotta think outside the box a little bit. And what you mentioned is, hey, show up on videos, but don't just show up on videos. Show up with value, right? Think about what my ideal audience would find value in. You don't even have to be funny. You don't even have to be like trendy.
Right.
Just give value to people. Just
Yep.
just give out the secrets. I don't think like, oh, if I give them all the secrets, they're gonna go do transaction by themselves. If that's the case, do it. Don't sit
Yeah.
back down. That's how universe works, right? Let them
Yep.
go do learn everything from you, do the transactions themselves. No problem. Someone else will come because you have helped them, right? But
Yep.
anyway, what would you say your single most important piece of advice for real estate agents and brokers out there who want to build a long-term future-proof business?
Man, future proof business. You know what? It's synonymous with, if you say future proof business equals relationships.
Yeah,
I mean, if I have nothing else to say, I would say go out there and build authentic relationships. That's it. I mean, that's the name of the game. Whether it's, the interest rates are in 7.5 or there's no inventory, the people who have built long lasting relationships are getting the referrals, right? They're getting the first business from the person who's thinking about them, like, oh yeah, I know DeVante. Of course I'm going to use
yeah,
DeVante.
yeah,
And then they're telling their aunties, uncles, friends and everything. So go out there and establish yourself as the value add
yeah,
expert to
yeah.
everybody like, and trust. Everybody that you come in contact with, you
Mhm,
have the
mhm,
answer to them, because you know what? Hey, I'm just here to add value, but
mhm.
I'm here to be. And oftentimes when I say that, I want to preface it by saying you don't have to be somebody's best friend. You
Yeah,
don't have to be a client's best friend, right? Reach out to them once a month with a note card or a text saying, hey, how is there any way I can add value to you today? Something like that. You don't have to say, hey, let's go out and get drinks, you know what I mean, every Friday. You don't have to do that. But just be authentic, be
yeah,
yourself. If you make a funny reel, send it to a client or send it to a past client or send it to a friend. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
little
yeah,
things like that, once a month, once a quarter at the very least. And there
yeah,
you go.
yeah. I think it doesn't even take once a month, but you could do once a month. Once a month is great, but once a quarter,
Yeah.
4 times a year, they hear from you, right?
Yeah.
And that's keeps you in front of them. You consistently show up, and rest of your marketing clicks in, right? What
Yep.
happens with most agents, they ignore the relationship and they're out there like, oh, posting 5 times a day. Hey, they don't care about that stuff because you don't
Right.
have personal connection with them, right? Like, oh, I
Exactly.
don't know why this stuff is not working, because you have no personal connection, right? So
Yeah.
no, I love it. I love that advice. So those of you who are listening in, if you struggling with mindset, struggling with consistency, feel free to reach out to DeVante Blow. You can find them everywhere, like literally. I just you looked you up before our call, and just to see like, okay, what are the things going on in your world these days. And so reach out to him if you need some advice on how to run your team. Seem like he's doing some great work, obviously, according to the results. DeVante, looking forward to connecting with you at in Miami, and let's hang out, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll see you on Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you again for sharing your journey and the power of the layup mindset. For those of you who are listening in, if you're struggling with consistency, mindset, or just trying to save your business in this tough market, we're here to help. Our team specializes in guiding agents like you to build momentum and turn things around. Book a power session with my team, and let's take a deep dive into your business, and we will help you identify the gaps and create a solid plan to get you back on track. I'll put the link to the calendar in the description of this video. And until next time, see you guys then.